Hi there, and thanks for joining us again. Welcome back to Red Business in Focus with Cork's local enterprise offices, where we are sharing Cork's business success stories. This week we are joined by an innovative and remarkable guest, someone I've worked with before, Marie Toft. Recent advances in neuroscience have proven that we don't remember content unless we connect emotionally with it, and that is Emotionise's USP. Marie Toft, how are you?
I'm very good, Jonathan. Thanks
It's
very
lovely
much.
to see you guys. We worked together before.
We have. We've known each other a very long time.
A very long time.
Yes.
So this is a little bit unusual that we're interviewing, but no special favours here. You are getting the same treatment as everybody else. You've got 30 seconds to tell us about the business.
Okay, so as you said, Jonathan, recent advances in neuroscience have proven that we don't remember content unless we connect emotionally with it. So I'm the CEO and founder of Emotionise, and what we're doing is we're developing artificial intelligence content creation software. So I've been working with clients with my business Emotionise, which is a content consultancy, for, about 3 years now. And we've discovered if you target people's concerns, desires and emotions, the content resonates a lot more strongly and it gets much better results, particularly with marketing. So what we're doing is we're creating artificial intelligence to allow everybody to have access to that.
33 seconds. 3 seconds over, but I leave you off because I know you. Now, the reason we know each other was you worked in TV for a long time, didn't you? I would have met you in RTE most of the time, and Today FM before that we would have worked together. This is a new departure for you.
It's a very new departure. So absolutely, I actually set up the Today Show with Maureen Dahi, which is now Ireland's longest running daytime TV show. And it was a fantastic experience. I thought it was one of the hardest things I ever did. No, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. So what happened was I needed a new challenge, Jonathan. And so I left RTE about 4 years ago now. In 2017, I set up my own business and it's been going very well. And then the pandemic hit. And then I started to look at, I had developed a process. When I left RTE, I actually went back to college as well as setting up my own business. Wouldn't recommend it, but I did it. And I studied psychotherapy for 2 years in UCC. And I hadn't seen the connection between the content creation and the psychotherapy. But suddenly I started doing more research into neuroscience and the power of emotions. I'd already seen the power of emotions in the psychotherapy I'd studied. And I've merged them together and I've developed a process.
But in the middle of all of that and making the decision, the big life-changing decision, when you went looking for help, how easy was it to find it, Marie?
I have to say the local enterprise office has been absolutely extraordinary. I'm with South Cork and I actually work with them myself. I help their clients with content creation, but they have been unbelievably supportive because they've taken a bit of a leap of faith. They've given me an incredible grant to help me fund this software because at the start it's quite difficult. Enterprise Ireland are really only going to take you on until it's built. So it's getting it built is the hardest thing. And without the local enterprise office, I just wouldn't have been able to get it built.
Now, because you have been a producer and a journalist for so many years, you were doing a lot of this by instinct, and when you were choosing stories and you knew you were doing it this way, but this is using a different kind of technology that's relatively new to make sure that that content that's created has that connection.
That's right, and you're absolutely right. I really discovered the power of emotional content when I created the series Creedon's Wild Atlantic Way. That's 6 years old now, and it had a huge resonance for viewers. And I was getting stopped by people in the street. They were very emotional about the series, and I thought, there's something here. They were remembering it. So you're right, an awful lot of what I was doing was instinctive. Then I married that up with the actual kind of scientific training, the psychotherapy training, the neuroscientific training. And what we're now doing is we're training artificial intelligence in my process. Now,
there's a potential of Big Brother here, that if the technology that you're developing isn't used the right way, it can manipulate people's emotions. How are you safeguarding against that? Or how does the product know that it is making a genuine connection versus manipulation, which is what a lot of companies would probably want to avoid?
Totally. I couldn't agree with you more. First of all, there's nothing new in what I'm doing. Advertising has been doing this for hundreds of years.
Very successfully.
Very successfully. So we all know, we all remember even the ads. You know, I'll give you an example, even the ESB ad to the Dusty Springfield track. So the power of nostalgia, that's something that's fascinating. So you're absolutely right. But there's nothing new. But I couldn't agree more. I mean, if we look at things like Cambridge Analytica, you know, the Brexit vote, the Trump vote, and actually that's something I'm working with AI experts at the moment, and that is something that's hugely important to me, safeguarding this very powerful technology, frankly, that it's not used for nefarious ends.
So how does it work then? Is it an app, or do you download software, or do you have to sit on someone's shoulder when they're doing it? How does it roll out?
So first of all, we're still at the relatively early stages. It's not available to buy yet, but it will be in 2022. I'm about 3 months into a 6-month software build. So I work with developers every single day. It's a huge change for me, Jonathan, because technology, as you know, is not my area. So the way it works is, the best way to put it is, if you're familiar, if anyone is familiar with the software Grammarly, it's like Grammarly for emotions.
Okay.
It's a plugin that sits inside your browser. So what we want to do is, we've got a big road ahead of us. We need to change people's behaviour. But what we're basically asking is that every time you want to create content that helps you win hearts and minds, that could be marketing, obviously. It could be employee engagement. What
I love about your story, Marie, is that pivot, that you did one thing for it. I did exactly the same thing when I set up my business, and it was terrifying, and I didn't know, my God, am I going down the wrong road here? But it's so fulfilling, and there's people probably watching this right now who might have an idea or who might want to give it a go, but they're in a comfortable role. They've been doing the same thing for 20 years, 30 years. What has been your experience, and what would you say to that person, no matter what the idea or the business is?
It's a good question, and I turned 50 this year, and I sometimes do look at myself and think, I'm setting up a technology company, and I left a very privileged and successful career behind me in RTE, but I had an idea, and I have to say, I'm very excited about where this idea has taken me. It's not an easy road, Jonathan. You know this yourself. You're walking away from the salary in the bank every single, month. However, it is the most fulfilling and the most exciting experience I have ever had. And the other interesting thing is, I was at the top of my game in media, and I've now entered a whole new world, which is technology. And it's fascinating to navigate that, to meet people, to see the differences. And even, Maureen Gaffney has written a fantastic book, Your One Wild and Precious Life. And she actually points a lot, particularly to women in their 40s and 50s, a time when the very physical days of small children are behind you. And actually, I really would, and back to the neuroscience, the more you push yourself, the more you stretch yourself, actually, the better for you, even in terms of brain health. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not ideal, and it can be quite intimidating and frightening. But I will say this, I had a clever idea. I could have left it there. I'm executing it. I'm putting it into practice. And it's frightening, but it's absolutely so rewarding.
And I can tell just from you're loving every bit of it.
I am. I'm really enjoying it. It's one of the most creative things. I talk to developers every single day as we develop this software. And I've been involved in very creative industries, creating documentaries. I've had the privilege of being in every town and village in Ireland, making the Cretan series. This is an extremely creative endeavour.
Well, the website, if people want to look it up, it's emotionise.media. It's on the bottom of the screen there. Marie Toft, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Join us next week when Alan Horgan will be shining a light, quite literally, on his story of setting up a husband and wife teamed business, and how creativity and uniqueness has put them in the spotlight for their beautiful homemade pieces of furniture and lighting. It's a good one. We'll see you next week on Red Business in Focus with Cork's local enterprise offices.